Hello, today we are going to do grade 8, grade 8 maths. The difference, a prime number and a factor. This is grade 8 maths. What is a prime number? A prime number is something that can only be divided by itself and by 1. Like for example, 1 is a prime number. 1 can only be divided by 1 and by itself, which is also 1. 2 is a prime factor. Can only be divided by 2 and by 1. 3 is a prime number. 3 can only be divided by 3 and by 1. 4 is not a prime number. 4 cannot be divided by 4 can be divided by 4 as well as 2. Is 5 a prime number? Yes, 5 can only be divided by 1 and divided by 5. It cannot be divided by 2 or anything else. Is 6 a prime number? No, because 6 can be divided by 2 as well as by 3. Is 7 a prime number? Yes. 7 can only be divided by 7. 7 can only be divided by 7 and by 1. Is 8 a prime number? No. 8 can be divided by 2 as well as by 4. Is 9 a prime number? No. 9 can be divided by 3. Is 10 a prime number? No. 10 can be divided by 5 and by 2. Is 11 a prime number? Yes. 11 is a prime number. It can be divided by only by 1 and by 11. And the factor, some people might want to know what a factor is. A factor is something that goes into a bigger number, like the factors of 10 is 1 and 2 and 5, because 5 can be divided by 2 and 5 can divide 10 can be divided by 2 5 times. 2 goes into 10 5 times. 2 4 6 8 10, and 5 can go into 10 2 times. 5 10. What is the factors of 15? It's 5. So 5 can go into 5, 10, 15. So 5 can go into it 3 times, and 3 is also a factor. It can go into 15 5 times. So it's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. What are the factors of 8? Factors of 8 is 1, obviously, and 2, because 2 can go into 8 4 times. 2, 4, 6, 8. Is 3 a factor of 8? No, because it's 3, 6, 9. In other words, a factor is something that goes into a larger number a certain amount of times without using a decimal. Now, I want you to look at exercise 2. I'm going to give you some time to write down all the questions. Write down all the questions. Like the first question is the factors of 24. Write down the prime number smaller than 30. The factors of 42 that are prime numbers and composite numbers. The even numbers smaller than 10. The odd numbers between 10 and 20. 5 multiples of 16. So I'm going to give you some time to write that down. Wait a minute, wait a little bit for you. Okay, so the first question, write down the factors of 24. In other words, what can go into 24? What else? What about 2? Can 2 go into 24? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. Yes. 2 is also a factor. So next one is 2. What about 3? Can 3 go into 24? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. Yes. 3 is also a factor. 3 is also a factor. What about 4? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. Yes. 4 is also a factor. How about 5? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. No, 5 is not a factor of 24, so 5 is not. What about 6? 6, 12, 18, 24, yes. 6. 6 is a factor. 7, 7, 14, 21, 28, no, 7 is not a factor. How about 8? 8, 16, 24, yes, 8. What about 9? 9, so 8 is a factor. What about 9? 9, 18, 27, no, 9 is not a factor. 10, 10, 20, 30, no, 10 is not. 11, 11, 22, 23, no, 11 is not. How about 12, 12, 24, yes, 12 is a factor. Those are the factors of 24. So how many factors does 24 have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 factors. 7 factors in 24. Now the second question was the prime numbers. Number 1b. Prime numbers smaller than 30. The prime number is smaller than 30. Is 1 a prime number? Yes. Prime, remember, a prime number is something that can only be divided by itself and by 1. So 1 can go into 30. So 1 is a prime number. Is 2 a prime number? 2 can only be divided by 2 and by 1. Yes, 2 is a prime number. What about 3? Yes, 3 is a prime number. So now remember, they're not asking for the factors. They're not asking for the factors at 1b. They're asking for the prime numbers. They're asking for the prime numbers smaller than 30. So they're not asking for the factors of 30. They're asking for the prime numbers, which is something different. Then 4 is 4 a prime number? Yes. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 so far. What about 5? 5 can only be divided by 5 and by 1. 6, no, 6 is not a prime number. 6 can be divided by 3. 6 times 3 is 2. 7, yes, 7 is a prime number. 7 can only be divided by 7 and by itself. 8, now 8 can be divided by 4 as well as by 2. So 8 is not a prime number. 9, 9 can be divided by 3. 10, 10 can be divided by 5 as well as by 2. 11. 11 is a prime number. You can only divide 11 by 1 and by 11. You cannot divide it by anything else. Is 12 a prime number? No. 12 can be divided by 2 as well as by 6 as well as by 4. 13, yes, 13 is a prime number. 13 can only be divided by itself and by 1, nothing else. 14, 14 is not a prime number. 14 can be divided by 2. 15 is not a prime number. 15 can be divided by 5 as well as by 3. 16, no, 16 can be divided by 8 as well as 2. 17, yes. 17 is a prime number. 18, no, 18 can be divided by 2 as well as by 9. 19, can you divide 19 by anything else besides 19 and 1? No. So 19 is a prime number. 21, or 20, no, 20 can be divided by 2 as well as by 5, as well as by 10. 21, no, 21 can be divided by 3, so it's not a prime number. 22, no, 22 can be divided by 11 as well as by 2. 23, think, can you divide 23 by anything else besides 1 and by 23? No. So 23 is a prime number. 24, is 24 a prime number? No, you can divide 24 by 8 and by 2 and by 12 and by 3. 25, is 25 a prime number? No, 25 can be divided by 5. 26, now 26 can be divided by 2. Remember, a prime number must only be divided by itself and by 1. 27, no, 27 is not a prime number because 3 goes into 27 9 times. 28, 28 can be divided by 2 and by 4 and by 14 and by 7. 29, yes, 29 is a prime number because 29 can only be divided by 29 and by 1. So there are 12 prime numbers smaller than 30. 30 is not a prime number. 30 can be divided by 2 as well as by 15 as well as by 5 as well as by 3. The next question, C, 1C. The factors of 42 that are prime numbers and composite numbers. In other words, composite number is the opposite of a prime number. Composite number is not a prime number. Exercise 2, question C. Question C, saying the factors of 42 that are prime numbers. So that will obviously be 1. 2 can go into 42, yes. So in other words, all the prime numbers. Can 3 go into 42? 3 is a prime number. Can it go into 42? Think 10 times 3 is 30, 33, 36, 39, 42. Yes, 3 is a prime number and it can go into 42. What's the next prime number? 4. 4 times 10 is 40. So the next one is 44. So 4 is a prime number, but it cannot go into 42. 5 is a prime number. It won't go into 42. 7. Is 7 a prime number? Yes. Can it go into 42? Yes. 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42. So 7 is another prime number. What about 11? 11, 22, 33, 44? No. 11 is a prime number, but it can't go into 42. So basically, the next prime number is, so 11 and 13 are all too big. It won't go into 42. So the prime numbers that can go into 42 is 1, 2, 3, and 7. The other prime numbers like 13 and 17 and 19 and 23, 29 won't go into 42. And the next one was number C2, the composite numbers. So in other words, a factor that goes into 42 that's not a prime number. So in other words, 6 can go into 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42. 6 can go into 42 7 times, and it's not a prime number because 6 can be divided by 4. So the first one is 6. What else can go into 42? That's not a prime number. We already know that 7 can go into 42, but 7 is a prime number. They're asking for composite numbers. 8 won't go into 42. 9 won't go into 42. 10 won't go into 42. So the next one will probably be 21. So the composite numbers that goes into 42 that are not, in other words, non-prime numbers that are factors of 42 is only 6 and 21. 21 times 2 is 42. Now number D, they're asking you, number D, the split exercise 2, the even numbers smaller than 10. The even numbers smaller than 10. Remember, even number is you get odd numbers and even numbers. An even number is anything that can be divided by 2, like 2, 4, 6, 8, 12, 10, 12, 14, 16, anything that can be divided by 2 is an even number. So now I'm asking you, even numbers smaller than 10. So 10 is not included. So it's going to be 2, 4, 6, and 8. 10 is an even number, but I'm asking you smaller than 10, not smaller and equal, only smaller. If the question asked smaller and equal, 10 would have been included, but they're only saying smaller than 10. So it's 2, 4, 6, 8. Those are the even numbers smaller than 10. Question number E. The odd numbers between 10 and 20. So in other words, 10 and 20 are not included. The odd numbers is any number that's not an even number. So odd numbers will be 11 is an odd number, yes. It cannot be divided by 2. 12 is not an odd number because 12 is an even number. It can be divided by 2. So the next one will be 13. Then 15. Then 17. Then 19. So these are the odd numbers between 10 and 20. 11, 13, 15, 17, and 19. At number F, they're asking you for five multiples of 16. So number F, 5 multiples of 16. Now what is a multiple? Like if I ask you what are the multiples of 3, I would say it's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, and so on. Or if I ask you what is the multiples of 4, then you would say 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28. In other words, just add 1. So then I'm asking you 5 multiples of 16. So obviously the first one is going to be 16, the first multiple. I said 5 multiples. You can give any 5. I'll give you the first 5. But you could have given any 5s. They're not saying the first 5. They said 5 multiples of 16, so let's assume they want the first 5. So it's going to be 16 plus 16 is 32. 32 plus 16 is 48 plus 16. 48 plus 16 is 56. I mean 54, I mean, sorry, 54, not 56, 54, my mistake. 54 plus 16 is 70. So here you've got 5. I'll give you another one in the 6th one. 70 plus 16 is 86. So I've given you 6. They asked for 5, I gave you 6. You could have given any. So it's anything times 16 is a multiple of 16. So it's 16, 32, and so on. You need it. We're almost done. Then asking at number 2, I'll just give you some time to write it down. Use a factor tree method to find the prime factors of 180. And 3, use the division method to find the prime factors of 120. And write the following numbers as the products of the prime factors. Just give you some time to copy that. So at the top of the page, it's still part of exercise 2. You can pause the video and then copy it. So asking you, use a factor tree. So factor tree is when you divide it, you start with the smallest thing that you can divide it with. In other words, 2. So say, they're asking you, use a factor tree to find the prime factors of 180. Remember, a prime factor can only be divided by, so you start with 180. 180 divided by 2 will give you 90. 90 and 2. So 180 divided by 2 gives you 90. 90. Now again, 90 divided by 2 is 45. So again, you divide it by 2, you get 45. Can you say 45 divided by 2? No, you can't. So you say 45 divided by 3 . You can't divide it by 2, so use the next one that you can use. 45 divided by 3 is what? 15, isn't it? 45 divided by 3. So this is a factor 3. Can you divide? So it's 15 and 3, because 15 times 3 is 45. 15 divided by, can you divide it by 2? No, you can't. Can you divide it by 3? Yes. 15 divided by 3 is what? It's 5. 3 times 5 is 15. Can you divide 5 any further? Is there anything that goes into 5 besides 5 itself and 1? No. So what are the prime factors? What are the prime factors that go into 45? It's obviously 2, 3, and 5. So the prime factors are 2, 3, and 5. The prime factors that go into 45 are 2, 3, and 5. In other words, they're not asking you all the factors, only the factors that go into the prime factors that can divide. In other words, they can only be divided by themselves and by 1. Remember, 45 is also a factor, 90 is also a factor, and 15 is also a factor. But they can be divided by something else as well. They're not just divided by themselves and 1. So the prime factors are 2, 3, and 5. Now at question number 3, use the division method to find the prime factors of 120. Use the division method to find the prime factors of 120. I'll give you some time to do that. It's very similar. It's very similar to the first one, but instead of using a 3, you're saying every time you divide by 2, like you say 120. You say 120 divided by 2 gives you what? Gives you 60. Then you write down 60. 120 divided by 2 is 60. Then again, say 60 divided by 2 is 30. So 60 divided by 2 is 30. Then again, 30 divided by 2 will give you 15. Can you divide 15 by 2? No. Can you divide 15 by 3? Yes. So in other words, you take the one that's just bigger than 2. 15 divided by 3 is 5. Can you divide 5 any further? You cannot divide 5 by anything besides itself and by 1. So the prime factors will be 5, 3, 2, and then obviously 1. 1 is always a prime factor. 2, 3, 5, and 1. So it's 1, 2, 3, and 5. 1, 2, 3, and 5. 1, 2, 3, and 5 are the prime numbers are the prime factors of 120. Then question 4. Copy down question 4. They're asking you, write down the following numbers as a product of the prime factors. So in other words, you're going to use the tree method. You're going to say something like we did here with 180. You're going to say here 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 5 is 100. So 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 5 is 180. So you're going to take each one of them. 180, 324, 365, and 1344. And say 2 times 2 times 2 times watts times watts times watts will give you that number. I will let you do that for homework, and maybe we'll mark it in the next period. Thank you. Have a nice day.